Sam, GoPro? GoPro's on?
What do you do?
That's on.
No. Jamie's one in the cockpit, sorry.
Just hold the button down. Turn your GoPro on.
Do you know who's first?
No, I don't. Home Street was in first.
Okay, thank you.
Below 80. He never did. Because I said. You too. I got it. Sexy time, baby. Sexy time. I'm not going there.
Oh, that.
Somebody wanted to. He's already.
Yeah. Some crew member wanted to go look at. I don't know which.
He's got everybody back.
Copy green. Go ahead and go.
Negative. I need you to fall back. The 11 is on its way out right now. Fall back to the bridge, please.
How can tell Erickson because he knows you by bugs.
Yeah, I should.
Copy.
All right, fine, that looks good. Let's see if we can get the 11 real about this.
Gonna grab Mike for an interview. Copy.
All right, fine, we got it. We're working out the way. Thank you.
Somebody up front.
Oh, Ricky there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell Mike to copy. Repeat.
Thank you.
Copy.
Mine is clean and I don't want that on.
You have a problem walking, I'll help you.
What it?
Heads up, the 3 is pulling on. The 3 is pulling on.
One down here, you want this way.
Trevor's
Yeah, I
ready.
got it right there. Trevor?
The bottom one's a little loose.
Huh?
The bottom one's got a little wiggle.
Yeah.
Well,
How do you send that?
Okay, well, then. Where's Sparky?
Find it? Find it? Find it? Yeah, we got it. We got it. Like that water? Guys, we got to get the duct tape coming. We got room now. Good? Come back now, guys. Check the rudder, then you get the rudder.
Can I do interview?
Yeah, sure.
Here, let me go this way so it's not the sun. Here with Andrew Tate, driver of the U12 Graham Trucking. Andrew, there were some problems on the course yesterday. How was it out there?
Well, I didn't see any weeds. If they're out there, I guess we were going too fast to notice. So all is good. The only real problem is having 3 boats out there all over the race course. It's hard to get a clean run at any point, but typical stuff. Stuff everyone's got to battle through. Other than that, we're good to go. Looking forward to a good day of racing.
Your team made some repairs after Madison. Does the boat run any differently now?
Like I said, it's a little bit tough to tell with the water kind of coming at you from all the angles, but I think we're good. I think we're right back where we were Sunday in the final of Madison, except we got all of our tail feathers back there. Hopefully we're ready to do some damage. Not necessarily to our boat, but competition.
What is something you like to do outside of boat racing?
Well, I grew up playing hockey. I think most people know that by now. I enjoy shooting sporting clays though. It's kind of like golf with shotguns, so it's fun to blow stuff up.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Oh, he did 164. So I told the rest of us, oh hell, Jody could probably take it, you know. And then our boss gets on her, yeah, he goes, what was this wow?
Copy.
So are you volunteer or are you in the program?
Watch your head.
Here you go.
You got my chip out there?
No, he's getting it all right now.
That's like
You like that better? What do we use them in this? No, because we have those others that we made.
There's other
No, they don't. Yeah.
Thank you.
Here with Jimmy Shane. Jimmy, you just took the course for the first time in this boat for this season. What is the biggest difference in driving the other hole versus this hole?
There's actually a pretty big difference between the two boats. They each have their own characteristics. You definitely have to drive this blue boat a little bit differently than the black and gold Miss Goodman boat. This boat's amazing. It corners. It's very light on its feet through the corners, and I think that's what is attest to its quicker lap time. So, just a great run for the good home street.
Awesome. Thank you, Jimmy. Jimmy, can I grab you for an interview?
What's that, huh?
Can I grab you for an interview?
Yes, you can.
Here with Jimmy King, driver of the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware. Jimmy, it's been 2 years since you've been out in this boat. How does it feel out there?
Just like I never left. No, seriously, I mean, the team that Ed Cooper and Griggs Hardware put together, it makes my job real easy. The thing's running well. We came out of the box just the way we left it, other than there's not a hole in it from 2 years ago. So hopefully we can improve upon it and make something happen this weekend.
Jimmy, what's one thing you like to do outside of boat racing?
Get ready to go boat racing. No, go watch my kids play hockey and try and get my grandson to go to the rink.
Awesome. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thank you. The 2021 Columbia Cup will forever be known as the Sago Pondweed Race. We'll never forget it. Nobody had ever heard that word before, that term, and now we all say it like it's just second nature to us.
Yeah, the runner-up trophy may be constructed out of it.
Or draped with it.
Yeah, and I had actually talked with Greg down at Atomic Screen Print and Embroidery. He was setting up this morning down by the pits with all kinds of great H1 gear and more. And I said, you ought to make a commemorative shirt.
And that's about all you had to say. And the wheels, I'm sure, began to turn.
Let's head over to Tire Factory turn number 2 and Kevin Rounds.
I just want to say that I've been a big fan of your aquatic botany podcast for so long. I cannot believe I'm finally able to be on with you guys. This is fantastic.
Wow. That's, you know, we had some help along the way, as we did have one of our local botanists actually phone in and be a part of the program yesterday and tell us what Sago Pondweed was.
I can tell you that it is off the course. It is not off the river. In fact, it is very plentiful over here on the Pasco side of the river, but it is off the course, as we saw the boats on the race course. And it looked like a lot of timing runs. As you said, it looks like the U1 is ready to race. It's ready to fly, but what a gorgeous start to our day. The wind is light. The river is very relatively calm, and this is like the perfect start to the day.
So let's go back to the speed for Jimmy Shane at 164.835 miles per hour in the H1 home street. That will eclipse the speed set in 2010 by Dave Villwalk at 163.579 miles per hour. That was fuel restricted.
Yeah, that's the difference there. We do have a fast lap that's been run on this race course before, north of 170 miles an hour, but that was back in, you're looking at the sheet, 1999?
1999, and it was Dave Villwalk.
Yes, it was.
At 170.471.
Now, remember, the boat still has to go through tech inspection, but also what we're looking at there with that record was a qualification record. So that's not going to be a new qualifying record, but certainly what it says in big, bold letters is
look out.
Look out. There's a lot of speed in that boat. And the other piece that's kind of amazing to me, they had another lap. I think it was at 162 on the, maybe both of those were in the second time out. I can't remember. I saw a quick list. But the bottom line is, remember, that home street hull has not been on the water in 22 months. And they went out and laid that down. That's pretty impressive. I'm also standing right next to the U3, the Griggs Ace Hardware. They are putting it back on the trailer right now. Correct me where I'm wrong, but the speed I've got in the memory banks for that one is 154 the first time, and they did a $158 the last time. Yeah, that boat hasn't been wet in 24 months. Pretty impressive.
For the Griggs Ace Hardware, 158.668 miles per hour, the bright red piston-powered boat. and a 156.942. Let's go back to the home street. The other lap was 162.147.
Yeah,
very solid.
Just impressive all the way around. And I believe, gee, the also ran in the group north of 160 miles an hour. I believe J. Michael Kelly turned a 160 and change.
Yeah, 160.745, Brad.
Boy, this hour of the morning, my memory's working pretty good.
Well, it is early. Maybe that's why.
I just read it 30 seconds ago, so it's not that impressive. But, boy, we're off to a good start, and especially after yesterday. What a big splash. I know H1 wanted to come out and show they were ready. Boom. They're ready.
So other activity in the pits until 9:20. The H1s can go out onto the course.
Yeah, and I just walked past, as I said, the Griggs Ace Hardware. I'm now to the vintage boats. You were down here this morning, Michael. You know how spread out everything can be. I swear it's another quarter of a mile they added between the pit tower and Bernie's tree. That's a bit of a trek. We got some boats down here on the sling. I can see cranes moving. Oh, that sling is on the GP15. Greg Hopp's Grand Prix ride's got a sling on it.
And that will be open for testing coming up at 9:20. Now, I do want to mention the one boat that we've kind of been following, Dave Billwalk, in the 40, Beacon Plumbing. 153.599 miles per hour in the only hot lap that he turned. And then he went immediately back to the pits. And I'm just kind of curious why he veered back and what they're working on, what they're looking for that they still haven't found after 2 races.
Well, and I will find them and get you the corporate line on that, if you will. I'll chase Dave down or Kelly Stockland, but I think I know the answer to that one, having watched the run. The boat ride was not good.
Suspect.
It was very suspect. The boat, in fact, when he got down to the lower end of the race course on one of his laps, he picked up the left side spots, and I mean, he really flew it. He was walking pretty substantially on the water the entire time out, but on that one particular time, it got too high up in the air, and I'm sure it got his attention.
So Jimmy Shane in the 1 home street, 164.835 miles per hour in our testing session. Qualifying will be later today. This is not a qualifying session this morning, only testing.
Yeah, and let's throw it to our Glenn Vaughan, who's down here on the dock. I believe when Jimmy came back in, although we were not on the air, I think he had a conversation with Mr. Shane and can fill us in on some of his morning thoughts.
Yeah, I had a chance to sit down with Jimmy and said, you know, how does it feel to have that boat out there after 22 months? He said it's running really well, and obviously he's got the numbers to back it up. So I asked him, missing Friday, what does that mean? Does that create anxiety? Are you guys really chomping at the bit? And he said, no, we just got to fine-tune this machine. They were making some adjustments down here on the dock. That got up on the trailer. They're going to be making some more adjustments. And like you said, Brad, you still got to test. You got to make sure you clear everything. So while that number looks impressive, you got to make sure you keep it between the lines. So he's ready to rock and roll. I think the boat looks really good. Now we're just getting some details hashed out before we get some numbers up that are official.
7 crew members on the deck of the home street right now. 7 people. So, boy, clearly working for more improvement.
Brad, if I recall correctly, was it the 2 years ago at the last race we did here that the U1 brought 2 boats, or one of them was kind of a test hole? They weren't sure if they were going to be running it. It didn't actually run a race, but they did run some hot laps in it. Is that the boat that they brought this weekend?
That would have been 2018.
Okay.
And that's the year they brought the brand new 2018 hull out. They ran it on Sunday morning. They ran a couple of laps with it, and that 2018 hull is the boat that is here. This is it. This is the new one. There's 2 hulls in the Madison Racing stable. There is the 2018 hull and the 2007 hull. This is that one that tested in 2018 but didn't race. It raced the following weekend in Seattle. That was its first ever race. It's been racing ever since, and clearly it's a rocket. And by the way, hello, Kevin Rounds. How are you?
I am good, Brad. I spent last night catching up on not on Sago Pondweed, but instead on the YouTube of H1 and watching your little preview of the race and some of the conversations you had. I was laughing because I thought there might be a little bit more jealousy from J-Mike because he, by all rights, should be under the burning tree, but instead, as the boat change happened within the last 2 years, it's instead Andrew Tate under the burning tree, and he seemed to be enjoying it very much.
He did, and you heard him say in that little piece, he goes, by the way, when you get down to Kelly, tell him thanks for the shade. During the test session over here, I asked Mike about that. I said, so what's the deal? You don't get your shade this year? And he goes, yeah, how come it goes with the team and not with the driver? And I said, I think you ought to make a point about that. But, yeah. And Andrew and Michael have a very good relationship, and so they've been teasing each other. But it is, we can chuckle about it and so forth. But I remember Michael and other drivers telling me, that shade's worth fighting for, and you're fighting for it for your crew members, because boy, does it make their weekend better and easier.
Hey, Brad, let's talk about that shade. And the 11 is under the shade.
Yes.
And J&D's 154.710 miles per hour out in the bright boat. That's a super colorful boat earlier this morning. So that's not a bad speed right off the trailer either to start out the 2021 HAPO Columbia Cup.
No, it's not. And you and I have been talking, this boat is my dark horse. Do not count out the J&Ds. I like this boat. I like what Scott and Shannon Rainey have done with it. I think it gets better every time it runs. They struggled mightily here at the test session with their electrical issues. They continued those same electrical issues in Guntersville for a while, but then the boat started running. And it's been getting better and better and better. I want to see this thing really get up and run, because I don't think we've ever really had the opportunity to see what Jamie Nielsen can do as a driver with a good piece. And I think he's going to get a good piece in this hull. You talk to Scott Rainey. I've gotten to know him so well over the last couple of years. A couple of times I catch him smiling like a Cheshire cat. I think he's got something up his sleeve once he gets this boat dialed in.
The other boat we saw out there was the 9. And a 147.548 miles per hour. And I thought that was a pretty solid looking run. I was surprised that it wasn't a little bit faster that time for J. Michael Kelly. Or excuse me.
Yeah, Corey Peabody.
Corey Peabody in the Strong Racing 9.
Yeah, I didn't get to see much of his run. I saw the speed. I know when he was out there it was pretty rough. I know a couple of times when he came off the top end of the race course, he had boats ahead of him, and I don't think he got to go in the lane that he really wanted. And that's what you run into during a test session. You don't have the course to yourself, which just puts the magnifying glass a little bit higher and sharper, if you will, on that 164. What's going to happen when Jimmy gets to go out there and have the whole course to himself, and he can actually run where he wants?
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. And all of the points that go along with qualifying.
And there are 100 of them laying on the table, 80 points for second, and everybody's fighting for national high points, and there's only 4 races this year. So points are at a premium, and right now that U1 Miss Home Street, the boat and the team is sitting atop of the national high points ladder.
J. Michael Kelly in the 8, 160.745 in the Miss Tri-Cities.
Yeah, I like that boat. They were out very, very quick this morning. One of the first boats to come out and get on the water, and I didn't realize he had run a 160 until about a half hour after that. But obviously a very, very strong lap. I didn't particularly care, and if I see Mike, I'll talk to him. I'm not sure that I like the boat ride, but I don't count. And it looked to me like the second time out he ran a whole lot better. I really like the attitude of the boat. And it's a little bit interesting this morning because without having yesterday we can go test our boat, and we can test our boat for the setup that we want to qualify in and make sure that we have the fastest qualifying setup in the boat, knowing full well we can come out Saturday morning and we can put our race setups in it and test that and make sure we're going, because they are 2 entirely different things. Well, the fact that we didn't have yesterday, you don't have that option of a day to work for qualifying and a day to work for race testing. So you don't really know till we can corner one of these drivers, and we will, and find out what they were really testing. You looking to go fast qualifying, or are we gearing up for race day?
Yeah, looking for those timing marks out there on the 2.5-mile super speedway here at the HAPO Columbia Cup. Andrew Tate in the 12, Graham Trucking 147.398 in the testing session, and there's about 6 minutes remaining, and I don't know if anybody's on a sling or in the water right now down at the pits.
Looks like just GP boats at this point.
Okay. Yeah, GPs are hitting the water. There's nothing going on here. Well, and GPs and 5 liters. I see 5 liters up on the upper dock, and here comes the flood guys.
Yep, the inboard GP testing will take place from 9:25 until 9:55 this morning, and then we'll head to vintage heat racing number 1. 5 liters will be out, the E350 class, at 10:35, and another heat at 10:50. So we've got a lot of action. That'll go right into the HAPO Over the River Air Show, and out of the Air Show we go into the H1 Unlimited qualifying session.
We've got 2 of our GPs on a sling right now. the GP79 and Greg Hopp's boat that I mentioned, the GP15. They are on the sling and ready to go. They haven't yet moved. The unlimited pit area, I'm not going to say it's quiet because there's a carload of activity going on the decks of the boats, but none of them will be finding their way out to the river.
Yep, and we're under 5 minutes for the H1.